Have you ever found yourself trapped in a whirlwind of negative thoughts, constantly worrying about things beyond your control, or doubting your own worth and abilities? If you have, know that you are not alone. In the fast-paced grind of modern life, many of us are burdened by habits that erode our mental strength and hold us back from realizing our true potential. But what if I told you there's a timeless philosophy that can help you break free from this vicious cycle? A philosophy embraced by some of the greatest figures in history, from emperors to slaves, from brave warriors to wise scholars. That philosophy is Stoicism. In this video, we will explore how the ancient wisdom of Stoicism can free you from 7 destructive habits that are silently eroding your happiness and success. Stoics believe that true freedom and tranquility can only be achieved by focusing our energy on what lies within our control and letting go of what lies beyond it. As Epictetus once said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things beyond the power of our will." In this video, we will delve into 7 harmful behaviors identified by the Stoics as the greatest obstacles to a fulfilling life. Overthinking, people-pleasing, dwelling on the past, constant worrying, self-doubt, self-deprecation, and procrastination. We will explore the Stoic perspective, drawing lessons from great philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, and offer practical modern strategies to help you liberate yourself from these destructive habits sustainably. Perhaps many of you have found yourselves trapped in at least 1 or 2 behaviors that are obstructing your life. Maybe you are someone who is haunted by incessant thoughts, making it impossible for your mind to rest, leaving sleep a distant luxury. Or perhaps you are someone who constantly strives to please others, to the point of forgetting your own true values and desires. Whatever your struggle may be, I invite you to share it in the comments section below. Overcoming deeply ingrained patterns is not easy. It requires courage, self-awareness, and a strong commitment to personal growth. But the rewards are priceless. A deep sense of inner peace, unshakable confidence, and the ability to fully enjoy each moment in the present. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. By aligning our minds with the virtues of Stoicism, such as resilience, self-discipline, and rational thinking, we can transform our experiences and regain control of our lives, breaking free from the habits that are holding us back. So, prepare yourself for a profound, inspiring journey that could change your life, where you will gain sharper insights into your own behaviors and acquire powerful tools to cultivate the life you truly desire and deserve. A life free from the shackles of overthinking, the exhaustion of people-pleasing, and the other habits that steal our joy. But to achieve that, we must begin by confronting the first habit, overthinking. As Seneca rightly said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So let's explore together how to calm your restless mind. 1. Overthinking, silent self-destructive process. Overthinking or excessive thinking is a common phenomenon in modern life, an action that seems harmless but silently erodes our mind and spirit. On the journey to becoming the best version of ourselves, recognizing and controlling overthinking is a crucial step to preserving inner peace and achieving personal growth. Overthinking often stems from fears, anxieties, and intangible insecurities. When faced with a problem or decision, instead of taking action, we become trapped in a whirlpool of assumptions and concerns. We create worst-case scenarios, analyze every minute detail, and ultimately entangle ourselves in a web of endless thoughts. It is a self-destructive process that leads us to lose clarity and the ability to act decisively. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, Our thoughts become burdensome when we allow them to flood and dominate our minds. He advised that instead of letting overthinking control us, we should focus on action, as only action yields real results. Overthinking is not only an enemy of effectiveness, but also a destroyer of mental peace. A practical example of overcoming overthinking can be seen in the story of a friend named Sarah. Sarah used to be someone who worried constantly about the future, analyzed every small decision, and questioned whether she was on the right path in life. These thoughts left her feeling exhausted, stressed, and unable to enjoy the present. One day she decided to try a new approach, focusing on what she could control and taking immediate action when faced with a problem. Sarah began writing down her worries, then categorized them into two groups: things she could control and things beyond her control. She focused on what she could do and learned to let go of what she could not change. Over time, she found that when she took action instead of overthinking, her life became lighter and she felt freer in making decisions. Overthinking is a challenge that any of us can face, but when we recognize it and take steps to control it, we free our minds, creating space for creativity and effectiveness. Remember that contemplation is only valuable when it leads to action. Focus on what you can do today, and do not let overthinking become a barrier on your path to becoming the best version of yourself. 2. Trying to please everyone, or people-pleasing. In our relentless quest for approval, we often find ourselves trapped in the habit of trying to please everyone, a practice as futile as it is exhausting. This pursuit, born of a desire to be liked and accepted, is a distraction that pulls us away from our true purpose. The ancient Stoics warned us about this peril, reminding us that the opinions of others are beyond our control and should not dictate our actions. To seek the favor of others is to hand over the reins of your life to forces outside of your control. In doing so, you become a shadow of yourself, molding your actions, thoughts, and even your identity to align with the expectations of those around you. This is not a path to greatness, but to mediocrity, a slow erosion of your essence. Consider the example of Socrates, who faced condemnation and eventual death because he refused to conform to the expectations of Athenian society. His commitment to his principles, even in the face of death, underscores a vital Stoic lesson. True fulfillment comes not from pleasing others, but from living in accordance with your own values and principles. The habit of people-pleasing is insidious because it is often masked as kindness or empathy. Yet, in reality, it is a form of self-betrayal. When you constantly adjust your behavior to avoid disapproval or to win favor, you sacrifice your integrity and weaken your sense of self. This is not compassion, but a relinquishment of your own identity, a dangerous habit that leads to inner turmoil. To break free from this habit, begin by reflecting on your values and aligning your actions with them. Ask yourself, am I doing this because it is right or because I want to be liked? This simple question can serve as a compass, guiding you back to the path of authenticity. Remember, you cannot please everyone, and the attempt to do so will only drain your energy and divert your focus from what truly matters. Embrace the wisdom of the Stoics and recognize that your worth is not determined by the approval of others, but by your adherence to your principles. In letting go of the need to please others, you reclaim your power. You become the architect of your own life, grounded in your values, unshaken by the shifting tides of public opinion. This is the path to true self-mastery and fulfillment, one that leads not to fleeting approval, but to enduring peace and self-respect. 3. Living in the past. To live in the past is to imprison oneself in a time that no longer exists, like holding on to the shadow of a memory that slips through your fingers, elusive and insubstantial. The Stoics, wise in their understanding of the human condition, cautioned against this habit of clinging to bygone days. For they knew that life unfolds in the present moment, where our power resides, not in the echoes of what once was. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded us to focus on the here and now, to release the burdens of past mistakes or glories. The past, though a teacher, must not be a tyrant. It is easy to be ensnared by the allure of nostalgia or the regret of missed opportunities, but in doing so, we neglect the precious gift of the present. The Stoic way is to embrace the present with full awareness, recognizing that every moment is an opportunity to act, to grow, to be. Consider the example of an individual who constantly revisits a past failure, reliving the pain and disappointment as if it were still fresh. This person becomes paralyzed, unable to move forward, their mind trapped in a loop of self-criticism and despair. Yet, what has truly changed? The event remains in the past, untouched by their ruminations. It is only their present that suffers, their capacity to shape their future diminished by their fixation on what cannot be altered. The Stoic response to such a predicament is not to forget the past, but to see it with clarity and detachment. To understand that what has happened is beyond our control, but how we respond now is entirely within our grasp. This is where our freedom lies, not in rewriting history, but in crafting our response to it. Embrace the wisdom that the past has to offer, but do not let it shackle you. Instead, use it as a stepping stone to greater self-awareness and resilience. The present moment is where your power lies. Let go of the ghosts of the past and focus on the path ahead. In doing so, you will discover the strength to become your best self, unburdened by the chains of what has been and fully engaged in the creation of what can be. 4. Constantly worrying. Worrying is a subtle tyrant that infiltrates the mind, wrapping its tendrils around our thoughts, suffocating our capacity to act. It is the relentless whisper of fear, masquerading as caution, yet all it accomplishes is to paralyze the spirit. The ancient Stoics understood this well, for they recognized that worry is a burden we voluntarily choose to carry, though it offers no real protection against the uncertainties of life. In the writings of Marcus Aurelius, we find a profound truth. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Constant worry prevents us from truly living, for it roots us in a future that has not yet come to pass, robbing us of the present moment. This habit of worrying, which many of us fall prey to, is a futile exercise in attempting to control the uncontrollable. It is an illusion, a mirage that distracts us from the only reality we possess, the present. To break free from the chains of worry, we must first recognize its futility. Consider a man who spends his days obsessively worrying about losing his job. He frets over every detail, imagines every possible disaster, and in doing so, he exhausts himself, both mentally and physically. But in the end, what has his worry achieved? It has not secured his job, nor has it prepared him for the worst. All it has done is drain his energy and diminish his quality of life. Instead, the Stoic approach teaches us to focus on what is within our control and to let go of what is not. This is not an easy task, but it is a liberating one. By redirecting our energy from worrying to taking constructive action, we reclaim our power. We become the masters of our fate, not by controlling external events, but by controlling our response to them. Worry, in its essence, is a failure to trust in our own resilience and in the natural order of the world. It is a denial of the Stoic belief that everything that happens is for the best, even if it is not immediately apparent. To overcome worry, we must cultivate an inner strength, a belief that we can face whatever comes our way with dignity and courage. Let us remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Worry does not empty tomorrow of its troubles. It empties today of its strength. By quitting this bad habit, we open ourselves to a life of peace, resilience, and true freedom. 5. Self-doubt. Self-doubt is a silent adversary that dwells within the recesses of the mind, an insidious force that can undermine even the most resolute of wills. Like a shadow that lingers at the edge of your thoughts, it distorts your perception of reality, making the path forward appear treacherous and uncertain. In the Stoic tradition, the mind is seen as a fortress, a citadel of reason and virtue, yet self-doubt is the crack in the walls, allowing fear and hesitation to seep in, corroding the foundation of self-confidence. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, reminds us that our judgments shape our world. When we allow self-doubt to take root, we are not merely questioning our abilities, we are casting a shadow over our entire existence. The first step in combating this habit is to recognize it for what it is, a false narrative, a story we tell ourselves that has no grounding in reality. Like a philosopher examining his thoughts with a critical eye, we must dissect these doubts, questioning their origin and validity. Are they born out of past failures, or are they projections of fears that have yet to materialize? Consider the example of the ancient Stoic Epictetus, who faced the harsh reality of life as a slave. Despite his external circumstances, Epictetus did not allow self-doubt to dictate his life. He understood that true freedom lies not in external conditions, but in the mastery of one's own mind. By focusing on what he could control, his thoughts, actions, and attitudes, he rose above his situation, becoming one of the most revered philosophers of his time. Similarly, when self-doubt creeps into your mind, remind yourself of your inner strength. Remember that the obstacles you face are not insurmountable barriers, but rather opportunities to test and refine your character. As you cultivate this perspective, self-doubt will lose its grip, allowing your true potential to shine through. In the end, self-doubt is nothing more than a phantom, a spectre that vanishes when confronted with the light of reason and self-awareness. By embracing the Stoic practice of self-examination and focusing on what you can control, you can dismantle the habit of self-doubt, transforming it into a stepping stone on your path to becoming your best self. 6. Negative self-talk. In the quiet chambers of the mind, where thoughts emerge and vanish like whispers in the wind, there exists a formidable adversary, one often overlooked yet profoundly powerful. This adversary is negative self-talk, the subtle yet destructive dialogue we hold with ourselves. It is the voice that sows seeds of doubt, diminishes our worth, and erects barriers where none truly exist. The ancients, particularly the Stoics, understood the weight of words, not only those spoken aloud, but those whispered within. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that our life is what our thoughts make it. What then are we making of our lives when our inner voice is one of constant criticism and self-doubt? Negative self-talk is not just a harmless habit. It is a corrosive force that erodes the foundation of our self-esteem. It tells us we are not good enough, that our efforts are futile, that we are doomed to fail. But these are lies, fabrications of a mind that has forgotten its power. The Stoics would urge us to recognize these thoughts for what they are, mere impressions, not realities. Consider the example of a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble. If the sculptor constantly berates their work, deeming every strike of the chisel as a failure, they will never unveil the statue hidden within the stone. So too with us. If we constantly diminish ourselves, we will never realize our true potential. To combat negative self-talk, the Stoic approach would have us practice self-awareness. We must become vigilant observers of our thoughts, catching the negative ones as they arise and challenging their validity. Replace "I can't do this" with "I will try my best" and "I am a failure" with "I am learning." This is not mere positive thinking. It is a deliberate and rational restructuring of our internal narrative. The power of self-talk lies in its ability to shape our reality. When we speak kindly to ourselves, we empower our actions, bolster our resilience, and fortify our spirit. It is through this conscious effort that we align our thoughts with our aspirations, paving the way for a life lived in accordance with our highest values. In the end, the voice we choose to listen to is our own. Let it be one of encouragement, strength, and wisdom, a voice that guides us not into the depths of despair, but into the light of our true potential. 7. Procrastination. Procrastination is a thief of time, subtly stealing the moments that could be used to shape our destinies. Like a deceptive shadow, it whispers the false promise of tomorrow, urging us to delay action, to postpone our purpose. Yet, in the teachings of the Stoics, we find a profound truth. Procrastination is not merely a harmless habit, but a subtle form of self-betrayal. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that the present moment is all we truly possess. "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away," he warns. The urgency in his words is a call to arms against the allure of procrastination. Every moment deferred is a moment lost, an opportunity wasted to live in accordance with our true nature. Consider the story of a student, Sarah, who had long aspired to learn a new language. She dreamed of speaking fluently, connecting with cultures beyond her own. Yet each day she postponed her studies, convincing herself that tomorrow would be the day to begin. Weeks turned into months, and months into years. The goal remained a distant dream, unfulfilled not by lack of ability, but by the habit of delay. It was only when she embraced the Stoic principle of immediacy, taking small steps each day, that she began to see progress. The language was not mastered overnight, but through consistent effort, the dream became a reality. Procrastination is the enemy of excellence. It erodes our willpower, making us slaves to inertia rather than masters of our destiny. The Stoics teach us that the antidote to procrastination is action, immediate, deliberate, and purposeful. By acting now, we affirm our control over our own lives, refusing to be swept away by the tide of endless delays. In your own life, recognize where procrastination has taken root. Is it in the pursuit of a long-held dream, a conversation you've been avoiding, or a change you know you must make? The time to act is not tomorrow, nor the day after. It is now. The power to transform lies within this very moment, waiting for you to seize it. So, take that first step, however small. Break the chains of procrastination and reclaim your time. In doing so, you will not only move closer to your goals, but also cultivate a life of purpose and fulfillment, a life worthy of the Stoic ideal.